All right, just give me a minute. Let me switch my phone. All right. Okay. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me share my screen and get started. So basically, we'll be completed with transition animation today and Bootstrap, so that um, we can be like done with the HTML and CSS part, and probably be starting JavaScript from tomorrow. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
so guys, what about the music player project? Is it done?
Yeah, it is done. I submitted it.
All right.
Not from my end. I've used the course invited to the compulsory. So I have started from the cousin now.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Not an issue, not an issue. So, all right. So, if you need any reference, any help on that, like, please feel free to ask. Okay. All right. So, basically, like talking about transition animation, like previously we had some um, Margu kind of thing, and we don't have any lots of support regarding. But like moving forward, we had support for animation and transition from CSS. Like some new features were included. So how do you put animation and transitions? Let's see that. So starting with a simple div, okay, and let me provide a class to it. So let's say this is a class div, and I want to add some transition to it. Okay, we can start with transform also. Transform is pretty much basic, so we'll just give it a quick. Okay, not in the script. It should come in the style. Except a script we'll see tomorrow. Okay, when we start with JavaScript. So also that is will be more interesting. Starting with the style. When I say not div, now there's something called as transform. Okay. Now basic positioning of our element is always static. Okay. And basic displays. So if it is a block element, so display will be block, or if it is in line, then it will be in line. Now in case of transform, we have some things like scaling is there and some other features are there. Now how does this scaling and all things work? Let's see that. So this is a div, okay, and let's say I say my div as um, something like 100 pixels, okay, 100 pixels in height and 100 pixels in width, okay. And the transform goes for a scale, okay. And if I try to give us a scale, so what should I get in the output? Any guesses, guys? Have you guys used scale?
Yes, it was Zoom in the element.
All right, okay, let's see that. So I guess this is done. Let me copy
Right.
the. Okay, so like zooming into the like scaling is dealing with the sizes. Now, if I just inspect it, okay, so if I just inspect it, so the CSS what we have here is I will just quickly increase the size so that it is more visible. Okay. Now the height and width we see what we set here is height is 100 and width is also 100. So, but if we quickly check it, we are getting height 200 and width also 200. Now, what happened basically is whatever scale we have put here, it is like scale 2 means whatever be the height and width multiplied by the dimension. Acha, what if I want to just scale the x direction, like the just the width, not the height? What should I use? So, okay. So we have something called as scale y. Okay, and probably you have already guessed that we have something called as scale x. Similarly, apart from scaling the div, we have something called as a rotation. Okay, and the value is obviously provided in degrees. So we have 45-degree over here. Whatever be the original position, okay, whatever be the original position, whatever be the center, if you want to rotate it, you can go with the degrees. Okay, normally with maybe like 75 or whatever be the degree you want to from the axis. Remember, what is the origin of our viewport? How many of you know about like the what is the origin of our viewport? Okay,
No idea.
okay. So have you wondered why every element start from the top left corner from the side? So this is
No.
our origin, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now this is from left to right is the x-axis and top to down is the
By axis.
correct. Okay. So if you don't give any style, if you don't give any transform, so everything starts from here. Now the angle which is calculated is the x-axis. Okay. So that is how you do things. Acha. What else do we have in transform apart from scaling and rotating? So we can see that translate Z. So Z may not be visible because we do not have something called as 3D over here. But if I say 10 page, what will translate to? Any ideas?
It will shift element.
All right. Yes, very correct. So whatever will be the x-axis, shift along the x-axis. That is what it means. Similarly, you have guessed about the y. So we want like if I just okay, basically translating with the two values will give the x and y axis. So I hope you probably have guessed these things. So not much of it we have over here. Okay. Skew is also there. Like skew means like just adding a hinge means you open a door, right? So door is along axis, so this is our axis and I want to rotate my complete box 10 degrees, so that is what skew means. Is it clear, guys?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so skew x is there rotating along x, skew y, and like furthermore you can just test it out. Basically these things are added to improve the user interaction. Okay, the point of css is you get a user attention, right? That is why we put in post. That is the whole motive over it. Okay. So you can try it out, try different features, and you'll see that this was the first thing related to related to transition and animation. So this is the first thing. Okay, transform we say. There's one more property, we call it transition. Okay, transition. Have you guys used transition? What we do in transition? What we mean by transition? That is the first question. Okay, let's see. So if I say height, okay, height, and just a second. So let's say that I want to say about transition, and transition I want the height, okay, the height, and maybe I can say physics. What is height? What is transition? How it works? Let's see that part. There's one more thing I want you from you guys. How many of you know about the pseudo state selector? We already talked about it. So tell me a pseudo state selector. Remember, guys, pseudo state selectors. Pseudo class. Okay, that's the same thing. Pseudo state or pseudo class. Okay. Do you guys remember hover effect?
Yes.
What is hover? Like hovering?
Moving cursor over the elements.
Yes. Okay. So hovering means moving the cursor over the element. Now, if I want to provide some style, now what is the work of transition? We didn't see it coming. Okay? We don't see like everything happening to height. But if I say that when I hover, I want to increase my height to 200 pixels. Okay? Initially, it is 100 of pixels. Hovering, it makes it 200. I will just comment this part out so that so that I can show you guys how transition is functioning. I will have a quick refresh. Okay, let's see this. Do you guys notice the change, uh, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me enable transition and then notice the change again. Okay. So these are the two things happening. First is, this is a div. I have given the height of 100 pixels, okay, and I've said that ki whenever I hover over my style, it should be height of 200 pixel, original height 100 pixel, on hovering 200 pixel, okay. We are going to learn about transition. If I just have a quick refresh and I just put it, so I see that on hovering the height increases to 200 pixels. Now, if I enable transition, you see the same thing. So, what is happening with transition is, how many of you want early? Okay, do you guys get the point? Who wants to explain what just happened? What transition is doing to my element?
So transition for particular time effect whatever effect apply on particular time or particular.
All right. So, yes, very correct. Now, transition, I'm saying that put on height. Okay, it means that whenever there is a change in the height of my box, it has to happen something like this. Okay, so transition would take the height, then it would take the seconds it is going to take. Okay, so these are the things. Now, there are a lot of things included in transition, so let's just cover that also. So we have these two things. Do we have something called as transition? Okay, let's see the properties one by one. So transition name, right? So transition property. So it's property name. Okay, it's right. So property, it goes as height. Okay. Then we provide the transition. Okay, so we have something called as transition delay, and we say 3 seconds. Then we have something called as transition. Okay, this is the delay part and there is a duration part. The difference between delay and duration is, what's the difference between delay and duration?
So delay like after 3 seconds it's started and the duration for 3 seconds there.
Yes, correct, very correct. So delay means after this time we start the transition, okay, and the duration is of, you guys know about the duration. There's something called as transition timing function. One of it is ease, okay, ease. What is ease? Let's see. All right. Do we miss anything? So specify the name of CSS property with the transit. Okay, let's see. I will have a quick start of it, and we have everything we added. I'll just enlarge it. Okay, so let's see. Delay of 3 seconds should be there. Yes, delay of 3 seconds is there. Okay, okay. I've removed, and it should be the delay again. Okay, and it is going on. The point is, transition property you already know what it is doing. Delay we already understand. Duration we already understand. Okay. Transition timing function, which is something new. Now, ease tells what should be the starting speed of my transition and ending speed of my transition. Starting speed and ending speed. Ease will have good speed, like both of this. It will be balanced, like which is the like original one. Okay. Whereas there's something called as ease in. Okay, ease in. Let's see this. Ease in says I will just remove the delay so that you guys notice the change, and transition delay I have removed, and the duration should be, let's say, 2 seconds. Okay, all right. So if you just notice, starting is slow, ending is fast. Just opposite.
Yes.
Okay, and just opposite is ease out. Okay, so I will not you can check it out, okay, on your own. Ease in out means like starting and ending would be the, like, what do you say, uh, slow, and in between can be fast. Now there is, if you want to go like more what do you say, more experimental, so you can try the sinusoidal wave also, okay. But okay, like it's fine, like you can just check it out, okay. So we have these kind of things. Not, let's not increase the complexity. Okay, you can just try it out. to close. Okay, it's done. See, you can play it out. All right. There's a one limitation we observed that height, width. So these are the only things which we can apply the transition. What if I want to apply transition to something custom? Custom means I want to put it on height also. I want to put it on width also. Okay. For example, let's take an example of a ball. Okay. I want to jump this box, so it moved top, down, and forward also. Okay, just like a ball moves forward by bouncing. Okay, I want to apply a bounce property. Now this is very basic. Okay, not like that attractive. But if I want to create a ball and make it bounce, so let's see that also. How can I make a div around? Any guesses?
That's
Um, okay. How can we make a div round?
we can use border radius as 50%.
Correct. Very correct. Okay. It's very neat style, like border radius 50. How does this work? Let's see that. So we're going with round, okay, and let's say that height is 100 pixels, width 100 pixels, okay, and 100 pixels, and the background can go as yellow. Okay, let's see that. All right, and okay, let's ignore that. Let me comment this part out. Okay, so I will just make this div as round. So as just others mentioned, we have the height, not the height. We have something called as border, then we have something called as radius. Okay, so whatever the 50%, okay, whatever be the 50%, you can just put it up over it. So you can say 50%, and you can hit the round box over. Okay. Now I want to make this bounce. Okay. For example, if it is at this level, okay, I want to make it bounce. Let's say go up, come down, then come down again. Okay, so go up, come down, and slowly move forward. Okay, something like this. I want to. How can I achieve this? Let's see. So basically, let me add a border radius to it first. Okay, and which is 50%. Okay, and by default, I want the position. Okay, I want the position of my ball to this. Okay, at this point. How can I shift my box here? Someplace down. Any guesses? What style should we put? Can I say position as relative and top as 400 pixel or something? What if I remove position relative? Okay. What is the by default position, guys?
Is it static?
Yes, correct. So by default is static, and nothing work on is okay. Not nothing like top, bottom. These things don't work on static. Okay. All right. Okay. So you need to put this. Okay. If you want to position your ball. So
So then
I
can you explain the position again?
position. Okay. All right. All right. So okay. Let's do the positioning again. Okay. Let's build the animation and
Yeah,
let's talk
sure.
about the position. Okay. All right, guys. Now I want to make this ball bounce. Go to the right and the top. Right, top, and till. All right. So how can I do that? There's a property. Just a second, guys. Okay. There is a property We call that property as something called as keyframes. Keyframes. Where are the keyframes? Keyframes. Okay. The identifier takes the name, so let's call it bounce. You can customize, ठीक है? आप इसको customize कर सकते हैं. 0% of animation. Okay? 0% of animation will take a style. Why it is giving the issue? Then comes the 20%. All right. Then comes the 40%. All right. Then let's say 60. Okay. How this will function, we'll discuss. Don't worry. Okay. Let's just make it style first, and finally the 100%. So left. Okay, so I have not added left, so that is not a. That's fine here. Now my top is 400 pixels. Okay. Now my top is 400 pixels. Okay. Top is 400 pixels. We just said that कि our viewport origin is situated at top left. ठीक है? So this is the x-axis left to right, and this is the y-axis top to bottom. ठीक है? तो if I say top 400, you should measure this as 400. ठीक है? Not the opposite. Okay? Please do not confuse. Okay? So we have the top as 400. Now I want to make the ball bounce. Okay? So initially my top is basically, okay, the top is basically just 400 pixels. 400 pixels. And when I hit two, like the 20% of my box, 20% of my animation, I want to make it to, let's say, 200 pixels. Okay? Then at 40%, so ball is bouncing. Okay? So 400 say 200, then again 200 to, let's say, 400. Okay? Now again, the bounce will decrease. Okay? Every time the bounce will decrease a bit. So 200 bounce was there. Let's say that bounce becomes 150 pixels. Again, it says like what I can say, 400. Okay? 400 pixels. And finally, let me break it to 90% also. Okay? And the top goes, okay, again to, let's say, 100 pixels, and finally we hit the top as 400 again. Also, one thing should be included is every time I like the ball bounces, it should move a bit forward. Okay? Like the left should increase. What is left in positioning? Like increasing distance from the left. Okay, so that is going in the x direction. So initially it is 0 pixels. Okay, and I can increase the like left accordingly. So initially it is 0 pixels. Then let's say I make it something kind of 50 pixels. Not necessarily. You can just calculate things. Okay, let's just see for 110. Okay, so there's a 70. Then finally it will be, let's say, 90. Then finally let's make it 100. And then the left would be basically uh, 120 pixels. Okay, I guess this should be enough. Now this is the custom made transition. Okay, custom made transition. How does it work? Let's see that one. So this is our box. We have a property called as animation. Name will take the name. Okay, name will take the name. The name is bounce. So let's include it here. Bounce. Duration. We can put, let's say, 4 seconds. Timing function. Ease in out. Okay. Delay. We do not want any delay. Okay. Iteration count. So how many times the iteration should happen, like the animation should happen. So maybe one. Okay. Direction, maybe we can take it. Otherwise, that's fine. We have something called as alternate and alternate reverse, but we do not need it. Fill mode, we have something called as forwards. Okay. We'll discuss it. What is fill? Uh, all right. Let's see what we have built now. I will do a quick refresh. Okay. So maybe something we need to add here. But I hope you guys are getting the point. So we can do some tweaks in it. Okay. So like playing with the positioning of our like whatever the ball we have created. So maybe we can just position it accordingly, and like playing with the values we can just do it. The basic idea is clear, guys. Are you guys getting the basic idea behind animation?
Yeah, got it.
All right. Okay. To help you guys, there is something called as, how many of you know about Animate Css? All right. Let's visit the Animate Css thing. I have added all the links here, guys. Okay, so whatever we need, it is already here. I will just share the link with you guys. If you don't have it already, just copy the link, paste it here. All right, let's close this one. Okay. So either you go on creating your own. Okay. So we already like know how to do these things now. So this is something called as bounce. We can create it. We have something called as flash. Okay. Acha. Can someone tell how can we create this effect? Flash effect?
Using opacity.
Yes, very correct. So we have something called as opacity. We can use it at regular intervals in our keyframe, and carefully we can design. Okay, very good, very good. Okay. All right. Just one last thing I want to show you guys. One more interesting thing. Okay. So this is a div, and okay, we can play with the div which we already made. Just one last transition. So this is our div, and what we have. So we have the hover, right? Acha. So this is the hover, right? And I want to do something else. Let's say background, background. Things correct. Background. Okay, that's it. This is good. Acha. So the background I want to change here is something called as background color, and let's make it color also. So it is advised to use color if you are using color, and if you are using the any background, let's make it background. So slate gray, I want to turn it to let's say yellow or something. Okay. How will the transition perform in that case? Okay, let's see that part. All right, let's refresh this. Acha, isn't it cool, guys? Like, okay, you can just try things out. Like, I just wanted to do solution. Okay, all right. If you want to create, you can create. Otherwise, we have something called as animate.style. How do we use it? So it says installation and usage. Firstly, installing with npm. Okay, when we'll study Node now, when we go to backend or React, okay, so we'll study about Node.js, then we study about npm. Okay, but for now we do not need that. We can just directly play with this CDN link. What is CDN? Anyone knows what is CDN? CDN is content delivery network. Okay, what is content delivery network? It is server basically. Okay, like suppose that one day we become a famous developer and we have our own library. Okay, styling library, and we are so good that people want to use our library. So we can submit our code to CDN, and CDN people have server in different like continents. Asia is there, like in South Africa, America, and they have the servers over there. They serve the content. Okay? So they have a delivery network for softwares. So that is what we are using. So this is nothing, basically the CSS file, okay, which we can directly use in our app. Acha. So it means that instead of writing my own animation, I can use someone else's CSS file. Okay. How does this work? Let's see. So it is very important that you guys go through documentation. Okay. Because when you move to backend, it will be needed very much. Okay. So please practice reading documentation if you haven't started now. Basic uses after installing Animate CSS, add the class animate animated to element. Animate animated. So suppose that I want to style the, okay, I want to style the round one. Okay, round one. I can have more than one classes space separated. Okay, that is totally perfect. Along with any of the animation name. It is saying that the animate.animated and along with any of the animation names. Yeah, so any of the animation means, let's try this bounce animate underscore underscore bounce. Okay, animate underscore underscore is a prefix and bounce is the animation name. So you have all the animation names over here. You can just try it out. Okay. Uh, all right. It is opening the same link, isn't it? Okay. Anyways, let's go to our application. Animate underscore underscore bounce. Now I have added bounce to this div. Let's see how this animate CSS works. Okay, let me hide this div. Not needed for now. How can I hide this div? Like, not by commenting, by CSS. All right. It seems that this animate style is not working. This is our style only, right? Which is working. Can anyone tell what is the issue here?
So in the first paragraph, CSS is inline and none and after the text. So it's taking the CSS. That's why
All right. So yes, that's a good catch. So we already created a bounce keyframe, okay? And this style is also having a bounce keyframe. Accidentally, these two names are matching, and this is overriding the previous one. So let's do one thing. Let's comment this out. Okay? Let's comment this out. Let's comment this out too. Okay? Now, when we refresh our page, so so we can see that it is working the animation. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
All right. Aja, so there's one more thing we need to discuss. Like, I hope that is a good revision also. We'll talk about CSS positioning property. Okay, that is very important. My point is, okay, can someone tell what are the position in CSS do we have?
Static absolute relative text.
Static, absolute, relative, fixed,
Relative text.
and sticky.
Sticky.
All right. Just a quick brief, guys. Okay, just pay attention. My point is, okay, we had a file. Okay, I'm sorry, like I'm not on my system, so I'll just create one more file. Let's call it positioning. Which name is one more is positioning dot html. Okay, what do we mean by markup language? Hypertext markup language. What is a markup language? Whenever we use human readable English keywords to write any code, we call it a markup language. If you see head is there, HTML is there, a title is there. So these are human readable tags. They can. So when we use these kind of things now, we call it a markup language. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah.
The point is, if I give this class, let's say a div, okay, and I want to give it some style, and let's go to browser and test out all the positioning. I will say style dot div height. Let's say take it 100 pixels with pixels. The background color. Hmm. Okay, let's choose other than white. Violet, green. Okay, okay. Anyways, let's choose anything. Let's copy the path. So I will increase the size. Now, remember, we just talked origin. Viewport is this. Viewport means the area which is visible to us or available to us. Okay? Area which is available to us. For example, this is the complete area available to my div. Okay. Acha. So if I just inspect it, and currently we have some properties. Okay. So this is the by default position. Top left is the by default position of any element. Okay. So जो भी element है, they will start from the top. But I want to change the position. Some properties to change the its original position is top. Okay. We just used top previously while setting up the animation. We have something called as left. Okay. Um, let's say left has 40 pixels. Acha. Top and left are not working. How can I make this work?
Changing the position to
Very,
relative.
very correct. Okay. Initially, the by default position is
Fixed.
all
Sorry,
right.
static.
Yes. By default position is static. Static में top, left, bottom, right काम नहीं करता. They don't work then. ठीक है? Anything else will work totally fine. So position a relative, it will throw us 100 here and 40 here. And that can be seen in the like this box also. So you can see that part. The position relative is very simple. Whatever be the original position of the box now, where it was supposed to display, we are just changing that place. Okay, it was supposed to appear here, but 100 pixels from the top and 40 pixels from the. So this is position relative. No confusion, very easy, like straightforward. What is going to come next? That we may have to have some discussion. For that, I need one more div. We are going to discuss about the another position which we call as positioning absolute. Let me take an inner div, and for this inner div I want to have some styles. Let's say inner 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Let's make it 200 cross 200. Okay, and let's change the color of this one. This is lemon yellow, and I want to make it something kind of red so that it gets highlighted. All right, this will work also work. All right. I wanted that this inner box, okay, I want to do the same thing with the inner box. I want to appear it here. Everything which is static will always start from top left. Either it is outer box or inner box, it doesn't matter. I want to change the position, but this time I don't want to go with a relative, I want to go with absolute. Okay, I want to go with absolute. And the position I want to take the top is 20. Okay, let me change it. So let's take it 100 pixels. Maybe we can increase it. Okay. So you can see that there is one thing. The inner box is coming out of the box. There is out of box idea. Okay, just kidding. So basically, absolute positioning it doing the same thing which was relative was doing. But there is a change. But there is a change. Let me show you the change. Remember, top is 200 pixel, right? This is the positioning of the box. Let me show you something. This is a div now. I want to give this as position relative. Okay, position relative. I want to give this top as 50. Acha. Just notice this, guys. Just notice this. As soon as I remove this position relative now, as soon as I move this position relative, this box is this box is shifting with this box. Position absolute always search for its parent, its relative parent. Okay, whenever you apply position absolute now, it search for its relative parent. If there is no relative parent, it takes its style from the body. Okay, position absolute means find the find the grandparent, which is find the grandparent, which is basically relative in nature, and you can just compare the top from it. Okay? So find the parent which is relative and compare the top from it. So this is the whole idea. Relative means its original position and compare from there, whereas absolute is a bit different. It search for relative parent and measure its top from there. Are you guys getting the point?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if it does not have its any relative parent, now it will take its top from body. Okay. So if it has no relative parent, it will take this from body. Okay, so this 300 pixel is not from the box; it is from the body. All right. So this was absolute. Okay. So relative is done, absolute is done. Now we have something called as fixed. Okay. We have something called as fixed. Let's see that also. All right. So we have something called as fixed. You will see no change here. Okay. But let me do one more thing. So now this position is fixed, okay, and let's make it relative now. You can see that there is no effect on this violet color box. So this is what fixed. Fixed means fixed on the viewport. No change at all. Are you guys getting the fixed positioning?
Yes.
Okay. It is coming out of the DOM tree. Okay. Independent. It is now independent. No changes. Okay. So that is what fixed positioning is. So fixed, absolute, relative, and static we already know. The last one is sticky. How does the sticky work? Let's see that also. All right. Do we have any scroll over here? Not yet. Okay. So let me make this box a really large box. For that, I can only say 110 viewport height. Okay. What is viewport height is? It is a relative unit. Okay. 100 viewport means you see this visible area, ठीक है, इस visible area को viewport बोलते हैं. So whatever visible area you see like this much is called as viewport. 100 viewport means divide this height into 100 times, ठीक है, and each one of them takes a takes one VH, ठीक है, and same goes with the uh, width also, ठीक है. We have something called as viewport height and viewport height. All right, so we have this 100, 110. Now we have a scroll over here. How does the sticky work? Let's see that also. I will remove the positioning from here, okay. And in this case, let's make this sticky, and the top will be 100 pixels. The top will be 100 pixels. All right, we do not have any scroll. Let me put some scroll. So 110 VH. Let's make it. All right. Hmm. Okay. Something we need to add more. Uh, okay, it will work. We are going to see sticky positioning. Okay? Just look at this. When I scroll, the inner box. Are you guys getting the point of sticky?
Yeah.
Okay? Sticky work like a fixed when it has hit the position. ठीक है. This inner div will scroll until it has reached 100 pixel top. Are you guys getting the point?
Yes.
Once it has reached the 100 pixel, it will be fixed position. So this is what positioning is in CSS. I hope this clarifies the thing.
Yes. Yes.
All right. The next thing we are going to see is, let's wrap it up so that we can be started with JavaScript. So claiming that, okay, it's good. I have already used it, so maybe you guys can give it a try. It says that web framework. Okay, what is a web framework? A structure setup with features to help us in development. A structured setup. So there's a setup which is already made for us, and it will make our life easier as a developer. Okay. Um, it means that, so one of the basic thing we saw is animate.sh. It has something, okay, but it is helping us, right? That is what it says. My point is, we have something called as Bootstrap. So anyone already use Bootstrap, experimented with it, or used it? Okay, all right. Anyways, so this is where we will have one quick introduction with JavaScript also. Okay, get started with Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a powerful feature-packed front-end toolkit. Build anything from prototype to production in minutes. All the things. Okay. Acha. So get started by including Bootstrap production-ready CSS and JavaScript via CDN. Okay. We'll talk about it. Now, my point is, let's include the things which is needed, and then we are good to go. So there's a script we need to add. Let's add this script. Where's the link? Link. Where's the link? Here's the link. All right. Okay, I can just copy this. It is saying that people or the some like good kind developers, okay, they have already written some code. Good developers are kind in nature, right? Right, just kidding. Like, you know, um, once you like to reach a level. So you develop open source libraries and you just maintain it. So already like helping other developers is a good job. So another thing is we already have Bootstrap written. The CSS is there and the JavaScript is there. Acha. So how does this function? What is the need? Or you can say not everything you have to learn. I will just share some things with you. Just go through it and that will be enough. Otherwise, there are a lot of things here. So you need this one. Okay. You need this one. And anything else from this file? Um, okay, I don't think so. Content, JavaScript, Webpack, Vercel. Okay, let's get it. Do we have anything over here? Okay. Okay. Let's move to the layout section. Go to Bootstrap. Okay. Just copy the code, introduction part, and hit breakpoints. So guys, remember we talked about media queries and we talked about breakpoints over there.
Yes.
Okay. So there's something. So some of the things we already have used is we said that there is an assumption that width lesser than 576 pixel are mobile devices. Okay, 768 let's say 768 992 these are tablet. Okay, तो ये tablet की width है. And moving further like 1200 1440 you guys know it. This is the desktop. Okay, ये पुराना desktop है and this is the newer desktop with the higher pixels. Okay. Bootstrap already provide things for it. Okay? It means we already have media queries written inside it. We just need to remember this class infix. SM, MD, LG is large, XL extra large, and double XL is extra large. Okay? So these are the breakpoint we need to remember. Nothing else do we need to remember from this page? Anything else? Nope. Let's move forward. We hit containers. Containers are fundamental building blocks. So guys, just go these things which I'm telling you. Otherwise there are lots of things which you can check out but not needed as of now. Okay? Which is needed, we'll just discuss that. Container are a fundamental building block of Bootstrap that contains pad and align your content within a given device or viewport. Okay? There's something called as a dot container breakpoint, dot container flavored, width is 100% at all breakpoints. Okay, anything else? Nope. Okay, let's move to column and we'll talk about columns. Learn how to modify columns with a handful of options for alignment, ordering and offsetting. Thanks to our Flexbox grid system, plus see how to use column cases to manage width of non-grid elements. Okay, so this is something how it works. Copy and paste. Copy paste. That's it. Okay, let's see if it is working or not. You can see that it's pretty much working totally fine. Just go and inspect. We already have things over here. So if I just have a look at the style, acha, so I see styles over here. Okay, see the styles? Yes, we have the style. Whenever you include a JavaScript or a CSS file from any CDN, okay, everything is downloaded into the browser. So we can see that we have the distribution over things. This is the distribution files. Okay? So every style, everything is written over here. Okay? So you can just go to sources, which is downloaded will be this cloud icon. Okay, and you can just visit through. Let's come back to the point. Remember Flexbox things? Flexbox. What are Flexbox?
In a web page, everything is divided like rectangle boxes.
All right. Yes, yes. So It is kind of rectangular box and we can treat them as container. ठीक है, आप उसको ऐसे कंटेनर ट्रीट कर सकते हो एंड यू कैन हैव सम items inside it. Flexbox is self-adjusting box. Self-adjusting box means, okay, if you see this, we have something called as container. This is given by Bootstrap. Okay, Bootstrap work based on classes. What they have done is, Bootstrap people have done is, they have created a style, and they have created a style based on this class name. So you have to use the exact class name. You have to remember this class name. Okay, you need to remember container. You need to remember col. Col means columns. You need to remember a row, row, row. So these things you need to remember. Okay, so row column. Let's see the internal functioning. So if we just come over here and we just take the mouse pointer, and each row is a flex box. Each row is a flex box. Okay, display flex wrap, and you can see the, so every row is a flex box. Inside it we have columns, and column is treated as items. Okay, and we can. Acha, this container is having some width. Okay, by default the containers take some width from the page. Now if you want to include the complete page, there's something called as container dash fluid. Hope the spelling is correct. So now it is occupying the complete page. So container dash fluid means width of 100%. Use flexbox alignment utilities to vertically and horizontally align columns. Check it out. That's not so difficult, guys. Okay, this is very easy. Nothing we have that we do not already know. Okay, but Bootstrap people have written. We can use it. No harm. All right. There's something called as components. Okay. So what you need to see is, you need to see the breakpoint, you need to see the container, you need to see grid column. You can check it out grid also. Okay. But it is enough for now. The things you need to know is components. The first component which we are going to see is accordion. You see this something like this. When you do a Google search, you get these kind of boxes. How many of you have seen this?
Yeah, see.
All right. So basically, uh, yeah, this can be done very easily using JavaScript. Okay, but let's keep JavaScript aside for a minute and let's quickly use it. So they have already written the code. Okay, although you can modify it according to yourself. That is never an issue. Okay, you just paste it and save it and like, let's see. We have the accordion. Yes, we have the accordion, right? This works totally fine. The good part of Bootstrap is, even if your system mobile, it is not breaking. Okay, you see this? These are automatically adjusted. It's the beauty of Bootstrap. Okay. Yep. This is what. Acha. Anything? Any like where it can help? Where it can help us? That may be the question. How can you use it in our pages? I will take an example of Airbnb. Okay. Even we have a good UI, and you can see that we have things over here. Okay, how to make this nav bar. Okay, let's start with this page and try to clone it using Bootstrap. Okay, not like completely clone it, but yeah, like kind of a structure and all. Just quickly reset it. Okay, let me remove this. Let me remove the accordion. Not needed as of now. All right. One question from you guys. Uh, ठीक है, we'll ask it later. ठीक है, that is related to JavaScript. This is our navbar. ठीक है, so do we have any navbar component in Bootstrap? Yes, we definitely have. But before we move to the navbar, I want to have a container. So how do we have a container in Bootstrap? Make a class as container. Make it fluid so it can occupy the complete page. Next thing comes in Bootstrap is, remember guys, just saw. Next thing is row. Inside the row, what do we have? We have the class as columns. All right. Okay. Okay. I want this navbar. Do we have navbar? So coming to components, yes, we do have navbar. Documentation example of Bootstrap powerful responsive navigation header. The navbar includes support for branding, navigation. Branding means the brand icon we see, right? The navigation and more, including support for our collapse plugin. Okay. Not everything will be using. Okay. You can just filter it. Okay. That too, be very careful while what you include, what you don't include. For now, let me include whatever we have, everything over here. Just check it out. So we had the nav bar. I will change this to something called as Airbnb. Airbnb. Let's remove this hello world. Um, all right. So we have this thing over here. We can use the search one. Okay. So we have search functionality in between. Okay, we can just replace or you can include an image over here with Airbnb text. Let's do that also. Okay. How to fetch images from the page. So for safety, let me put the height to 24 pixels and the width to, yeah, this works fine because image already have this height and width out of its style. Okay? You cannot use it anywhere else, but you can use it here. Where to get this image? Let's see that. Elements we already know. Okay, if you do like guys, if you have any issues with Chrome Dev Tools, please ask. Okay? Console we will study in JavaScript. Okay. Sources we just saw. Sources means whatever the files included in our application, that is the sources. Okay. Let's come to network. Here is where we'll see things. How many of you have used network tab already? All right. Let's see this. I'll do a quick refresh. Okay. Every resource in the file. What do we mean by resource? Images, CSS, JavaScript, HTML, font, everything is loaded over here. We have the filter. Okay. I am more interested in the image section. I will click on image. I will enlarge this. I can find all the images here. I see this Airbnb icon. I do preview or response. I do preview, right click, save images, and the image I have saved. Isn't it easy, guys? You can fetch any images from here. Let's see how. So I will just drag it, right click, rename airbnb.png. I have got the icon. So, airbnb.png. So all right. Anything else? Let me refresh. So we have the Airbnb icon over here. Okay. We can remove this part. So home link drop down. How do we remove it? So home link drop down. So basically this UL is needed, or we can remove it. We can remove it. Very careful while deleting the styles. Okay. Let me break the UI. For example, this is break now, but we can fix it. Okay. So we have this over here. Um, we have this collapsible navbar. Where did this toggle button come over here? Okay. We have this as over here. All right. So this is the thing. Uh, this is the thing I want to have the flex. Okay, it is written justify content space between. Hmm, that is correct. Okay, so these are with the 100%. Did it work? No, it did not work. Okay, let's put a workaround. Okay, what I will do is I will just do ctrl-z. Okay, so instead of having, let's delete this. This should be working now. Didn't I do something wrong or is it good? Okay, it's fine. Need to remove the extent. Okay, so it is totally fine. We have moved the search from. Okay. Let's move forward. We do not need to clone everything. Okay, you just I'm giving an idea how do we do this. Okay. You can do this also. Okay. Let's focus on developing this. This seems good. Okay. How can we make these things? Right. This will be interesting. Now, this kind of layout in the pages, we call it card-based layout. Okay? This is very famous layout nowadays. Most of the blog site or the home site or the branding site, you can just see this things over here. So we can have this card-based layout where we have images and where we have some info over here. Okay? How to create this? Or Bootstrap? Does Bootstrap have any support for this? Yes, we do have already support from the Bootstrap. Very easy. See, that is the point of Bootstrap, right? Like everything is already present over here for our help. For example, if you see this card-based layout, this is the image, there's some text, and we have something. Isn't it the same thing, guys? Image,
Yes.
some text. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, it's already here, right? All right, I can just copy this part. Okay. Rows and columns, you can divide your page in rows and columns. We already know that. And we have the card-based layout also. Okay, let's do this. So maybe someone can ask like, can we have multiple rows? Yes, we can have multiple rows. Can we have multiple columns? Yes, we can have multiple columns. Can we have multiple containers? Yes, you can have multiple containers too. For example, you already have a container. We can use the same row. Okay, you can create one row inside it. That will also work. Otherwise, you can go for a container. Okay, if you want to keep your code clean, let's go for another container. So you can say container, and make it fluid also. Dash fluid, and basically you can say as a class row, and you can say this as a class column. So basically, that's us. So um, let's see. I don't want to do this now. Okay, it's inside this. Okay, now it is good. So how many columns we want to have? Let's say that I have four columns per row, and there are two rows. Okay, so four of them are over here, and you can just copy row, paste row. All right, is this done? Yeah, it's done. So two rows of cards, okay, and with different cards. Let's see it how it is rendered. Then we'll include our images. So we can see that we already have the layout in place. It would be good if you leave it as containers. Let's have some spaces. It work. Why didn't it work? Did we miss anything?
Actually, spelling of container was not right there.
Container spelling is not right. Yes, that's a good catch. Thanks, Adarsh. So, container. Okay, thank you. All right. ठीक है. These are basic things. You can put some margin bottom. ठीक है. Like that's not a point. A point is, let's put some images. So it's look good and let's make it fluid again. So we have got it back. So we can put it. All right. How do we get the images? Just like we did now. So I will quickly go here. I will do a quick refresh. Before that, let's hit network tab. Network tab means whatever resources, whatever you see in your page now, everything is downloaded from the server. ठीक है सब सर्वर से डाउनलोड होता है and this comes in your system. ठीक है everything is downloaded. Let's just clear this part. Let's hit this and let's download all the images. It is already in our system now. ठीक है हमारे system है already. So what we can do? Let's minimize this. What are the images do we have? So we have this big guitar over here. So let me save this. Then what do we have? We have this snowland over here. So let me save this also. We have this blue sky. Let's save this also. Anything else? Uh, this palm trees there, or this aquarium type houses also there. So let me save this also. All right. So first image, where did it go? Let me minimize this also. So image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. Okay. All right. Let's change the name to what is happening. Rename guitar.png. What is this? This is greenery. So greenery. I hope that's spelling is correct. This is aquarium. Let's rename it aqua. And this is what we call this light, guys. Do any of knows what this green light is?
Uh, the Aurora.
Aurora borealis, right?
Yes, yes.
These these look so good. I want to visit them. It's one day. Okay. Okay. So let's put it. So we have the guitar over here. So guitar.jpg. Then you can put some height and width. Okay. So that we does not like comes the complete image. Then we have the aqua.jpg. Then we have the aurora.jpg, and finally we have the let's include height and width so that I don't break it. 100 pixels. Let's go with 50, then we can decrease it or increase it. All right. This is 50. This is 50. This is done. Yes. All right. Let me do one thing, guys. What I will do is already have the images included, right? Let's delete this. Let's copy this. Yes, this. Um, all right. Okay. So we have something called as margin top. Okay. We should be having this margin top 8. I'm just checking. Okay. It should be working. If it does not work, we'll take it out. Put this style in Bootstrap. All right. This is too small, isn't it? Inspect height and width. So setting height to 100%. That's good. That looks good. So let's just is the height. So I'll say uh, height. Height is done to 100%, and the same for here. All right. Okay, guys. This should be probably the last thing. Okay. I hope we're good. Okay, so we can see that we have included. We can check this. This image is not behaving properly. Maybe we can check it out. So with not much of the tweaks, okay, with little bit of tweaks here and there, we can just apply things and we can. If you check the complete page, so it has mostly the similar one. Okay, this is the bottom one through which we can already make it. Okay, this is also easy. Just Naba would be there and it will do the job. Okay, so you can try it out. Where do we get the icons? Just to mention this. What do you guys use for icons? Any website? Probably font awesome would be there. Okay, and you can figure out the font awesome thing. So you have the brands and all those things. Okay, music. All right, you can check it out. So this brings us to our CSS and things at the end. Okay, um, anything including whatever I have mentioned over here, please go through it. Very very important. So one of the recap would be what we did exactly in HTML CSS. We saw the HTML code, we saw the important tags we have, we saw the form, we saw the table. How do we add the CSS, CSS3, the box model, the selectors, the type of selectors. Okay. Then we went to flex and grid. Okay. Grid you can check it out. I personally don't use grid that much, so we can check it out. So dividing it in row and columns and working around it. Responsive designs were there. Okay. um, like relative sizes, absolute sizes, okay, units. Then we had the positioning attribute. Okay, we have the Z index. Then fixed and fluid layouts, media queries we discussed, mobile first layout, desktop first layout, Git. Okay, we'll probably discuss Git also in the coming sessions. Okay, no issues. Then we had this animation transition today. Then we had the Bootstrap also. Okay, framework libraries, Bootstrap, box sizing property, you can check it out. And yeah, these things. So this was all for HTML and CSS, guys. I hope you guys like learned something from the sessions, and like I would like you to like complete the assignments and all those things before we move to JavaScript. Tomorrow we'll be starting with JavaScript, and we'll see you there. Okay, but before leaving, let's mark the attendance. So, Feb. All right. Saturday, right? So we have Azizuddin, Sahil, Adarsh, Mukesh was there, Dimple was there, right? So five other people were there. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Please mark attendance and let's meet tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye.